Find the slope and y-intercept of each line. So in example A, we have negative x plus 3y is equal to 9. If we were to write this formula here into the y equals mx plus b format, we would be able to see visually that the slope is m and that the y-intercept is b. So what we need to do is simply solve for y in the equation. By solving for y, we'll get it in the form y equals mx plus b. All right, so to solve for y, I'm simply going to add x to both sides, or in other words, move the x over to the right-hand side. Remember, when you do that, you change the sign of the variable, right? So it's going to be plus 3y is equal to positive x plus 9. Then from there, all I want to do is to divide both sides by 3 to get the y by itself. So I'll divide 3 here and then divide this by 3. So that'll simplify as y is equal to, there's a 1 in front of the x, so that'll become 1/3 x plus 9 divided by 3 ends up giving you just 3. So we'll have 1/3 x plus 3. So the slope of the equation is just 1/3, and the y-intercept, right, is simply 3. And you can write the y-intercept as a point if you want. Remember that you let x be 0 when you're finding the y-intercept, so the point is written as 0, 3. So either way is appropriate. All right, let's look at example B then. For example B, we have to do the same thing, solve for y. So I'm just going to move this 5x over here. When I do that, the 5x becomes negative. So it'll be 2y is equal to negative 5x plus 10. Then from there, I'm going to divide everything by 2. And when I'm done, I get y is equal to negative 5 halves x plus 2 into 10 goes 5 times. So you can see that your slope m is negative 5 halves, and your y-intercept is just 5, or you can write it as the point 0, 5. All right, from there we have examples C and D. So for these equations are a little stranger. Look at example C, for example. We have y is equal to 3. So this means that the slope must be 0. This is the same as saying y is equal to 0x plus 3, right? Because that would just simplify right back to this, because 0 times x would, of course, just end up canceling out. So that must mean that our y-intercept is simply 3 and our slope is 0. So we can say m is equal to 0 and that the y-intercept is simply equal to 3. Now, you can see this by graphing it. The y equals 3 is just a collection of points that have the y-coordinate of 3. So you can actually plot points by just saying, look, this equation over here, the y equals 3, is just a collection of points where the y-coordinate is 3. So we can make 2 points where the y-coordinate is 3 and put anything you want for x. So you could do, for example, 2 and 3, right? So if you have 1, 2 on the x-axis, and 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis, and let's even get one more space on the x-axis. So there you have the different positions for us to plot the points. So the x value of 2, 3 would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 on the y, so you'd end up with that point there. And then, of course, 3 over on x, but 3 up on y. So 1, 2, 3, and 3 up on y is right there, right next to it. If you connect those 2 points, you see that it forms a horizontal line. And that's the kind of line that you get when you have y equals to a constant. So the slope is 0 because it's perfectly horizontal. But it crosses through y equals 3 on the y-axis. So there's the y-intercept. Let's do the same for the graph for D. Let's plot the graph, and then from there we can actually talk about the other parts of it. So it's hard to put D into y equals mx plus b form because there's no y, for example, right? But if you plot the graph, you can simply say that equation represents the collection of points that have the property that x is negative 4. So we can simply come up with a bunch of points that have the property that x is negative 4. We really don't need a bunch, we can just do 2, right? 2 points is enough to graph a line. So we could let the y, for example, be 0, and we could let the y be positive 4. So let's go ahead and plot that then. The x being negative 4 means you go out 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis, but the y being 0 means you plot right there on the axis itself. And if you go out the same negative 4 on the x, but go up 4, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, put a dot there, and then you connect the dots, and you get that vertical line there at x equals negative 4. So the slope is undefined here. A vertical line has an undefined slope, so you'll simply say that m is undefined. And then for the y-intercept, you can also see that there is no y-intercept. So the y-intercept is basically the empty set. Or in other words, there is no y-intercept. So you can say the empty set, you might see the answer is 0 with a slash through it, which indicates also empty set. Or you can just say there is no y-intercept. The line never crosses the y-axis.